You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Streaming at you live from their hidden location in their secret lair 10 miles off the beaches of the Emerald Coast, Chimichanga Talk, brought to you by Beach Bum Comics, with your host, Deadpool Speaks, and the Great Wang! And we're back for another round of podcasting. Beach Bum Comics brings to you Chimichanga Talk. With me, your host, Deadpool Speaks, and with me, as always, is the Great Wang. Well, actually, the Great Wang had to step out real quick. You know, I'm going to bring somebody in here to help me do the news portion. A fan favorite of the show. Guys, give it up for Outhouse Billy.
Hey, man, I'm really glad to be here. I'm ready to get my news on.
I didn't understand what you just said. And Outhouse Billy, always a pleasure to have you on. Outhouse, first of all, let me start off by telling you this. Did you know we were going to be at Pensacon in February?
I did, in fact, know that you're going to be at Pensacon, and I would love to be there myself. As a matter of fact, I may try to make arrangements to be there, but that's not firm yet. I will be jealous if I can't go, though.
You be, what? What was that? Jealous?
Jealous.
Well, guys, if you haven't heard already, Pensacon is February 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, 2014 at the Crown Plaza Grand Hotel in Pensacola Bay Center in downtown Pensacola. Now, guys, we're going to be there February 22nd and 23rd. We're going to have a really cool panel. We're going to go ahead and put on a great show for you guys. So, if you haven't heard of Pensacon, it's actually an all-inclusive convention for the fan community. Pensacon will incorporate a lot of genres out there, from sci-fi, fantasy, horror, comics, anime, gaming, and so much more. You definitely want to check this out. And just to plug it in there, the guests include, like, you know, in a rare U.S. appearance, the actor behind Doctor Who's Dorian Moldovar and the Fat Friar from the Harry Potter films, Simon Fisher-Becker, is going to be out there. Not only will he be there, he'll also be performing his one-man show, My Dalek Has a Puncture, which should be a great thing to watch. Also, the original Michael Myers, Tony Moran's going to be out there. From Mallrats, The Devil's Reject, and Three's Company, actress Priscilla Barnes is going to be there. From The Road Warrior, Commando, and Power Rangers, Time Force actor Vernon Wells. And the original Ghostbuster, Ernie Hudson's going to be out there. Now, you can see all these incredible artists, guests, and events at www.pensacon.com. Tickets are available on the website, and the best part, children 10 and under are free at the door. So, guys, let me go ahead and cover some part of the news right before we bring our guests on. I'm real excited about this guest. Outhouse Billy, I'm pretty sure you're excited too. Some of your kinfolk there on The Walking Dead. Michael Rooker is going to be on the show. But before we get to him, so let's talk about this. It's actually believed that the Polynesian people were using binary 600 years ago. Now, Outhouse Billy, do you know what binary is?
Binary, I think that's a type of coon, right? Is it like a rat or... Yeah, go ahead and explain it to me.
You're real close. Actually, binary lies at the heart of our technology, and it's those strings of like ones and zeros that are fundamental to the way all our digital devices function. Sometimes you'll see it in jokes. We've seen it in Futurama, or it's like 0010101, you know. Now,
the Matrix.
There you go, the Matrix. But while the invention of binary is credited to German mathematician Gottfried Leibniz in the 18th century, it turns out the Polynesians were using it as far back as 600 years ago. A team of researchers in the University of Norway have been analyzing historical records from a volcanic island in the Polynesian, where the first settlers arrived about 500 to 800 AD, and they found that the inhabitants there were actually using a basic form of binary. Now, while only a few, about 500 to 600 people actually still speak that language, are alive today, they're trying to use as much as possible to recreate some of this language and figure out that they built their language using a base 10 form of counting, which is in many ways kind of a binary form. So it's actually really fascinating to see that this technology that made up the future was being used 600 years ago. What do you think of that, Outhouse?
I think that's really amazing. Maybe we're not as advanced as we thought we are. You know, a lot of times you hear people talk about people from the past, and it's almost like we expect people not to be knowledgeable or to be ignorant just because they lived long ago, but you might be surprised at how much we've forgotten over time.
And what amazes me is the fact that you thought it was some sort of raccoon.
There is a binary raccoon, so you should Google it.
It would be funny, actually, somebody Googled that and actually found out that the binary raccoon was indigenous to the Polynesians. So let's go ahead and grab some more news. Outhouse, what do you got for us?
I'm a big fan of Fable, and I know that's probably out of character for you guys, but I love Fable and everything about Fable, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but Fable's got, the Lionhead Studios, the creators of Fable's got 2 games near release. One of them's a remake of Fable 1, and it's called Fable Anniversaries. It's going to be available for all the platforms, including Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, not just Xbox One and PlayStation 4. It's going to be released supposedly on February 7th, 2013. If you know anything about Lionhead Studios, they're really bad about pushing back release dates. But now that Peter Molyneux's gone, hopefully that'll stop, because he's the kind of guy that likes to make promises that he can keep. But, he was also a really creative, genius person that came up with this game. That's how much, that's why I love it so much. So I hope that him being gone doesn't really change things a lot. Anyways, so February 17th is going to be Fable Anniversaries. It's a remake of the original Fable, like I said. It's going to, be basically the same game with a lot, with a lot of updates and things are going to be added. The biggest thing is the load times won't take as long. If you remember playing Fable, man, it just felt like you didn't want to travel, because every time you took 20 steps, it felt like you were loading again. Now it'll still be loading, but it'll be so super fast you won't care. There's a couple of things that they've told us, basically with the February 7th release. There's going to be, if you buy the game on the opening day, you'll get 5 outfit, including a Sith outfit of some kind. I don't know. They got a picture of it. It didn't look like the Sith, but anyways.
Oh, okay.
It didn't look Star Wars related anyways. Black Graduate, Red Prophet, Blue and Red Guards. There's also going to be 2 weapons that you'll get. One's called the Loot Weapon, which should be entertaining. I've always wanted to bash someone over the head with a loot. And a will user weapon of some sort. Let's see. There's a couple of things as far as achievements. They've announced the achievements, and with their quirky sense of humor, that there's some pretty fun achievements out there. I looked at a couple. There's 2 game-related achievements. One called Combat Evolved. The other one's called Ask Creed. It looks like, we don't really know how to get those 2 achievements, or there might be, it might be out there. I don't know how to get the achievements. The Ask Creed description said, be silent but deadly. I'm thinking that it's going to be, you're probably going to be dressed like an assassin and fart on someone or something, but that's going to be my best guess. The other one's called Say It with the Middle Finger. That's going to be probably a pretty nice achievement. And there's a user-created achievement. I don't know if you guys knew this, but they did a little contest a couple months ago to see who could come up with the best achievement. And it was, Are You Not Entertained? And you got to go through 8 rounds in the arena without resting. So that's it for Fable Anniversaries. That's the big news update. Also, they have another game coming out called, I think it's Fable Legends. It's coming out sometime 2014, but as we know, if those guys don't hold your breath, they won't release the game until it's ready. But it's going to be, I believe it's going to be exclusive for Xbox One on release. That'll probably be when I buy my first Xbox One.
Nice.
And it'll probably have a picture of Lionhead Studios. Oh, another thing is, if when you buy launch day, you buy their game, you'll get some Avatar awards as well, like a Lionhead Studios hat, something cheesy like that. But anyways, that's what I got.
So definitely, guys, want to check out. Keep an eye on First Anniversaries, which, like you said, is coming out in February, and then Legends. Correct?
Yeah, and remember February, they got, 2 holidays. One of them is, Valentine's Day, not very important, but then there's also Groundhog Day, so that's a pretty big deal. So
I got some news for you, Outhouse. I know that you're a big Sandman fan.
Oh man, he's the best wrestler ever. I love watching him. You know.
Okay, yeah, we're not talking about the wrestler. We're not talking about the guy who, you know, used to barbed wire match and smash beer cans on his head. As much as that is a common occurrence where you're from. Actually, this Sandman series is actually Neil Gaiman's Sandman. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's based on a comic book series that he wrote back in 1989. The story follows Morpheus, the personification of dreams. Now, due to an occult ritual, he's basically held prisoner for 70 years, but after escaping and getting vengeance against all those who kidnapped him, he's basically set his sights on rebuilding his fallen kingdom. Now, the story has been floating around Hollywood for years, but it's always been in development hell. It's never really taken off. They'll get screenwriters for it, and it'll collapse. It's been a big year for Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Former child star, he did shows like Third Rock from the Sun. He moved on now to doing a lot of really great movies, including Inception, Dark Knight Rises, and he's doing Robert Rodriguez's upcoming Sin City: A Dame to Kill for. Deadline, which is the company who's trying to put this thing together, is now finalizing a deal that will see him, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, produce, star, and possibly direct this adaptation of the Sandman series. It's been a big year for him. He was also been reported for parts in a lot of the Marvel Studios stuff, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, and Ant-Man. So, you know, we're possibly seeing if he winds up making Sandman, it would probably severely reduce his chances of ever being in a Marvel movie. Now, I don't know. Outhouse, what do you think of this news? I mean, you know, you have this guy Levitt, right, who's been doing a whole bunch of different movies. Have you seen most of his work?
You know, honestly, you lost me at Dark Knight Rises. I was thinking how that would make a really good porn, you know, porn movie. But
yeah, and you know, it's funny. He actually starred in a movie about a guy who's obsessed with porn called Don John. Have you seen that, by the way?
No, I haven't seen that.
I bet. Yeah.
Probably wouldn't admit it.
Well, you know, it just goes to show the power of Levitt, how hard he's actually working in Hollywood right now. So
sounds like he's had his hands in a lot. So
not only that, but in Scarlett Johansson as well. So So Outhouse, have you heard our Christmas album?
You know, I've heard the names of the songs, and I've heard a bit about it. I haven't got the privilege to hear any of the songs yet. I'm hoping to maybe possibly even participate in a song. Yeah, you know, I don't know.
We're trying to encourage Outhouse Billy to contribute to this. Now, guys, if you've already purchased the album, first of all, thank you so much for, you know, actually tossing us a couple bucks out there, and we did this for fun. It's not very expensive. It's $2.99. It's more like our little toss out to Christmas. We want you to bring in the holidays with us. We absolutely sing terrible, and you know what? We'll toss Outhouse Billy in there. Anybody who's already bought the album, we'll go ahead and send it to you at no additional charge. It's almost like a deluxe edition on iTunes. And
after they hear my edition, they'll probably want to charge you. But yeah,
what we're gonna do is since Wang has been warming up backstage, we're gonna go ahead and do a rendition of one of the songs that you can find on the album. And guys, like I said, you know, if you want the perfect Christmas gift to give somebody that you really don't like that much, it's our album. And definitely it's something to enjoy. It has a little bit of something for everybody. Doorbell rings, I'm not listening. From my mouth, drool is glistening. I'm happy although my boss let me go. Happily addicted to the web. All night long, I sit clicking, unaware. Time is ticking. There's beard on my cheek, same clothes for a week. Happily addicted to the web. Friends come by, they shake me, saying, yo man, don't you know tonight's the senior prom? With a listless shrug, I mutter, no man, I just discovered SpringBreakGirls.com. I don't phone, don't send faxes, don't go out, don't pay taxes. Who cares if someday they drag me away? I'm happily addicted to the web. Yeah, I love the web. You got YouTube, you got all sorts of different things. You got Vine now. See guys getting kicked in the balls all the time. There's all those crazy cats singing. Love it. Friends come by, they shake me saying, yo man, don't you know tonight's the senior prom? With a listless shrug I mutter, no ma'am, I just World.com. I don't phone, don't send faxes, don't go out, don't pay taxes. Who cares if someday they drag me away? I'm happily addicted to the web. I'm happily addicted to the web. I'm happily addicted to the web. I said I'm happily addicted to the web. Yeah. World of Warcraft got to go raiding. All right, and my next guest actually doesn't need any introduction, but let me tell you this. He was born in Jasper, Alabama, caught the acting bug, studied at the Goodman School of Drama. He's best known for his role as Henry in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, Frank Bailey in Mississippi Burning, Hal Tucker in Cliffhanger, Rowdy Burns in Days of Thunder, and most beloved by fans as Merle Dixon in The Walking Dead. It is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Michael Rooker.
There you go, man. Thanks. That was quite an introduction. Thank you.
we always lay out the best here on Chimichanga Talk. So let's get right into it. You made your film debut in 1986, playing the title role in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Now, this film is based on the confessions of serial killer Henry Lee Lucas. You took this film seeing as it would be challenging to you from going from the stage to film. How was that transition?
You know what? It was easier than I thought because I was scared shitless, basically. I had no idea whether or not I was going to be good at filming scenes out of sequence. Not only scenes, but little bits and pieces of stuff totally out of context and out of sequence. And I ended up enjoying the hell out of that process. I ended up really liking the ability, my ability to be able to do that. And I wouldn't have known if I hadn't have done that movie. And yes, I did do that movie basically as a test, because I had done only theater up until then. I'd done little major, little day player things here and there with films and TV things would come into Chicago, but nothing with a real through line, So Henry was my first. I like to tell people it's my first film where I actually had a character with a complete through line, and so it ended up being a wonderful thing because I ended up in just absolutely falling in love with the filmmaking process. So.
And what an impact you made. Actually, me and the great Wang here are huge fans. And you have a very particular story about this film. When it was first being screened, you made such an impact on the screen on one particular young lady that she had to leave the theater. You remember that story?
I do remember that story. It was in Telluride, and I was late for the screening, and the other producers and director and everybody else was up there in the lounge right outside the theater, right outside the doors, and people were in there watching the movie, right? And so I was like running into the theater, up the stairs, thinking, "Oh no, I'm sweaty. It's in the middle of winter, and I'm sweating, and I'm running up the stairs, and all of a sudden, here comes this lady running down the stairs, and literally we ran smack dab, right face to face in front of each other. We almost smacked into each other, and she looked up to me, and she saw who I was, and screamed bloody murder, turned, ran back up the stairs, and back into the foyer for the theater, and And I come running up after her. What the hell's going on? What's wrong? What's wrong? And she's like screaming and jumping up and down, and my friends have to grab her and say, "You okay? What's wrong?" And she was so afraid. She had just come from watching me on the screen playing the role of Henry Lee Lucas, right? Henry, and something. I don't know which part of the film she was at, but something startled her and disturbed her so much that she had to get out, and she got up and ran out of the theater. She didn't even walk. So, and of course, smack dab into me. So this poor lady almost had a heart attack.
And that's a way to begin a career right there, Michael. I mean, that's just that's being shot out of the cannon right there, scaring your fans from the beginning.
As soon as a woman sees you, they turn and run away. It's like my life story.
and you know,
it's beautiful, yeah.
It's amazing because your lavish history in film. I mean, all the movies that you played, everything from bit roles to almost leading men, and one of actually to show the versatility of your acting, one of my favorites was in Mallrats, where where you played Jeremy London's love interest, over-controlling father. And in that movie, you had a memorable exchange with Jason Lee, who gave you the stink palm. And
yes, he did. Yes, he did.
So
that was quite a memorable thing. That was a beautiful scene. As a matter of fact, I had said they wanted to know what kind of snack I wanted, and I said chocolate covered pretzels. That's my favorite, one of my favorite snacks. And I love the Godiva ones, the little ones inside those big cans. Oh man, whenever I pass a Godiva store, I go in there and I try to find them, and if they exist, I always get the dark chocolate ones, and I can't help myself. And so on the day of, we had chocolate covered pretzels, and of course it's a big moment in the film, and it's a moment that nobody has ever forgotten. No. And let me tell you, they do not ever. My fans never let me forget it either. Every time I go and do some signing at a convention or a con, there are always several people bringing up chocolate-covered pretzels for me.
Well, I think
thank God the bags are always sealed.
Now we know what to bring you next year when we see you at a con.
Jack Daniels, Jameson whiskey, or chocolate-covered pretzels. I'm a happy camper.
There's your Christmas list right there.
That's right.
That's right.
And I think what makes it so memorable is how you took your time just licking all your fingers and the close-ups that they took and all the sounds. It's fantastic, and it just goes to show how not only can you play an extremely serious character, but you can have fun too. And I mean, that's how you are in real life. You talk to a lot of people who have met you. They say that you're tremendously outgoing.
Yeah, I have a good time with people. I would say that I'm a bit more extroverted than introverted, but we had talked about Henry though. I mean, already, and Henry was one of the movies that I probably learned more about myself from. I discovered that I have quite an introverted ness about me at times, and that film brought that out. But I prefer to be positive, and I prefer to meet and greet people with a smile. So I'm always excited to meet fans, and when I go to the conventions and find autographs and things like that, I'm always open to getting out there and getting down and dirty and getting big hugs and having a good time.
Exactly, and I mean, you basically show this off to the world through your Twitter feed, through your Facebook, always posting pictures of all the different things that you find. I remember most recently you posted a picture in a Ghostbuster suit. It's you're always giving us a good time.
I had partied with some Ghostbusters cosplaying guys and girls the night before, and this is the story behind that. And they were crazier than me. Let me just put it that way. And we had a great time. And so I said, give me one of them suits, and I'll pull it out. I'll wear it to my Q&A. And so from that, what happened was when it was time to do my Q&A, I slipped on the suit. I went backstage. I slipped on the suit, and then I put my jacket over the suit. And then I said to my handler at the time, I said, okay, in 15 minutes, I'll give. There's a phone message for Michael Rooker. Emergency. So, and then I pull out my phone, and as I pull out my phone, the theme song for Who You Want to Call,
Ghostbusters,
right? Starts playing, and everybody is like, the audience is going, trying to figure out what the hell is going on here, and of course it's me pulling a prank on the entire audience and everyone else. And so when the music starts and I answer my phone, I'm still on mic, and I'm like, what? Oh no! Ectoplasma, ghosts, where? I'll be right there. And I put my phone in my pocket, and I rip off my jacket, throw it to the floor, and of course I have a Ghostbusters outfit on, and I have the ectoplasma knapsack bag down hidden by my foot, and I pick it up, I pop it on, and I say, I'll see you guys, I gotta go. And I run off the stage, and I leave the Q&A. And people are having a great time with that. And then of course I go and I find Ernie, and he had no idea I was coming over, and so look at his face on YouTube. This poor guy was like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah,
I had a great time on that one.
Yeah, Ernie Hudson's face is priceless, because it's a total shock, and that's something that you're very famous for being told to do. With all your cast members say how you like to kind of mess around and you keep everything really light.
I try. At least you know what. Sometimes you play a role, and you got some serious stuff to do on the film. But afterwards, you know what? Let it go. Lighten up.
Exactly.
Let's go have a drink, have some fun, because life is way too short to sometimes get too deeply into some of these roles that I've played in the past. I mean, you'd be hanging out in your hotel room with the lights off, 24/7. So.
Exactly.
I choose not to.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about a small, meaningless role on a TV show no one has ever heard of, The Walking Dead. Now, how did you develop in your mind this character, Merle Dixon, the man everyone at first loved to hate?
You know what? It was as we went along. My friends pitched it to me, casting people, Lisa May and Craig Fincannon down in Wilmington, and they did a lot of the local casting, and they said there's this role, and this guy, and he gets handcuffed to the rooftop, and there's zombies at the door, and he cuts his hand off to get away, and I said, whoa, chill, hold on. This guy's a good old country boy. He cuts his hand off to get away. Okay.
Yeah, it's like you had me at handcuff. Yeah.
I love it. So I ended up saying yes. I would love to do this. And then when I got into it, it was only supposed to be a few episodes, and it's just that they really, the people watching, Miguel and her, Frank Darabont, and all the people watching were pretty enthralled with what I was doing, and because I did it in not just simply violent way, and there was humor. There was there is sardonic, dark humor involved, and which was good. And so Merle Dixon, I like to tell people, when T-Dog came out there on that rooftop, told me to shut up and stop shooting, be quiet. But look, a lot of people took Merle as a racist at that moment. But I got news for you. T-Dog could have been blue, green, yellow, orange, purple, or I don't care what color this guy would have been. He was about to get his ass kicked.
Yep.
And so nobody's going to tell this character, Merle Dixon, what to do at that point in time. And so, and I like to point out that Merle did not throw the first punch. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I had, and so just from that energy coming on that way, and then the next episode having me somewhat docile, handcuffed, and still being kind of bitchy and still being kind of sardonic and teasatory and, and all that kind of stuff, and still using that black humor. It was really a good. I enjoyed I made that choice to do it that way, and I thought it was very, very cool to do it that way, because I knew when I found out that they were writing, when I saw the writing of that monologue, which was the teaser for the next episode after I cut my hand off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this character cuts his hand off, and then I find out that I'm in the next. I didn't think I was going to be in the next episode. That's when I think it was supposed to end. And but then they said, no, you're in the next episode. And then they showed me the material, and I stopped a minute, took a breath, and just thought, wow, wow, I get to do this. This is amazing. What an amazing piece of writing, and what an amazing opportunity to show an audience a complete turnaround opposites, mixed up, babbling man's, sitting out in the sun for 3-4 days, in the cold, 2, 3, 4 days, about to die. I mean, it was a beautiful piece of writing, and it showed you so much more of who this character was.
Exactly.
And from that moment on, I tell people, as soon as that key went down the drain, all of the sympathy left the group and went to Merle Dixon.
Yep.
And so then and there, once I come back and do that monologue, it was a given that people were like, okay, is this guy coming back? Because we want to see him now.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what happened. And boy, was I fortunate that the producers and the writers wrote that for me. I mean, as an actor, it was a blessing, and it was such a blessing to get a chance to show other sides of a character that it was, kind of one-sided by that point, and so it was really a cool way to flip it around on people.
And not only that, I think it's a testament to you as an actor that you had the ability to not only develop this character, but miss like a complete season and have people just wanting you back, then take us all the way on a ride in season 3 that I don't think there was a single dry eye in the house watching the episode where we lost.
It was amazing, brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
When that occurred, I mean, the arc in that character from season 1 all the way to the end, the end of season 3, and when he gives his all for his brother and his brother's well-being. The love for his brother is what motivated Merle Dixon. As soon as he found out that his brother was still alive back when he was at Woodbury, everything from that point on motivated everything that he did. And so that shows in the entire arc of that character, and that's why I think people really, they just fell in love with this guy, and they so wanted him to change and to be part of his group. But when you look at it seriously, he could have never been a part of that group, because he was only a part of one group, and that was him and his brother, and anything else really didn't matter that much to him, and so he ended up appreciating and liking some of the people in that group, just by being there for a little short period of time. But his real true motivation for turning Michonne loose, letting her go back to the group, was basically because she's a damn great fighter, and if she's with the group, hence she's with my brother, hence he's going to have a better chance of surviving. So everything was sort of motivated on the survival of my
brother.
Yeah, my brother. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think the importance. I've actually rewatched those scenes you were talking about, Michael, about being on the rooftop, and that was the first real scene on that show where somebody was so pinned into a corner that the survival instincts kicked in that we're used to after 4 seasons of The Walking Dead. But a character who you weren't sure you liked was pinned on a roof, and you're like, oh, he's going to cut his hand off, because it's all about survival at that point. And now, it's so embedded when you watch the show, but that was the first one where you're like, he's really going to have to cut his hand off if he wants to live, And I think that was important to the writing of the show, that they showed somebody in that predicament.
And it was a great, it was probably I got to tell you, probably, I don't say this a lot, but that was probably one of the best monologues I've ever done as an actor on film or TV. That was a beautifully laid out piece, and man, oh man, if I ever get a chance to do something as good again, it'll be a blessing, and it'll be a total blessing. So I'm up for those kinds of stuff, those kinds of things. And man, when this one came up on my plate, it was amazing. It was amazing. I knew it was going to be amazing as soon as I read the first episode that I was in. So I was like, whoa, this is, if I do get an opportunity to show other sides and other characteristics behind this guy and motivations and all that stuff, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be really cool. And God dog it, I did. I got a chance to really show and to work on and develop and bring out a beautiful character that had an awesome arc.
Now, Michael, let me ask you this. Now, one of our fans wrote in because we went ahead and promoted this, that we were going to talk to you, and they wanted to ask, Margaret Van Otice from Facebook wrote, what was your thought when you found out you were going to die and not be part of The Walking Dead anymore? Now, we've talked with Lou Temple before in the past, and we understand that, you guys get the script as it's handed to you. So when you got that script and you read it through, what were your thoughts?
I got to tell you, my very first thought was, oh my God. Wow. I don't have to wear that thing on my arm anymore. I love it. I don't have to wear that in my arm anymore. It is so great, because that thing was driving me crazy, dude. It was driving me crazy. It hurt my elbow, and some nerve stuck in my elbow, and it was like, oh my God, every time I put it on, I dreaded putting it on, and I got good at having it on and good with the blade and stuff, but that was my very first thought. And then after that, of course, I thought, oh no, uh-oh, my mortgage ain't gonna like this. And then of course my next thought was, well, God, if I'm going out, I'm going on an ass kicker. Plain and simple. And that was my first note to the writers. I was like, you know what? The guy came in an ass kicker. He should go on an ass kicker. You know, and at least doing something. He ain't gonna go out laying down. That's for sure. No. And so they wrote the last sequence, and I kept looking, and it was like, yeah. Can we do this now? Can we do this? So I had a lot of input on the last portion of Merle Dixon, and as well as from the beginning to the end. I mean, the writers and everyone on that show are very open to the actors' ideas and what they want to do and how they want to do it. And so I was very fortunate, very lucky to be involved with a bunch of professionals like that, man, because it was an awesome ride.
Yeah, and a lot of our fans have even mentioned, I mean, you've done a number of voiceovers for video games, including the most recent, The Walking Dead Survival Instinct, but you've also done Call of Duty, Black Ops, and Black Ops 2, among others.
Yep.
Any background on doing voiceovers compared to actual acting? I know you've got a script to follow, but any insight you can give us about that we might not know about?
Well, I think that's why the games have sort of switched to finding actors to do some of these roles, because they want that. They want the reality of that the actor can bring. They don't want people to just read lines. They want you to develop the role, develop the character, and bring it there and bring it. You know, and that's what you do. And so when it comes to acting, I mean, you probably have to do even more imaginative stuff doing the game, because you don't have the real props. You know, you got like, you're standing there in a leotard, a bodysuit, and there's nowhere to hide. You don't have a wardrobe. You have little dots all over your body and your face and your head and your arm and your legs, and your gun could be like a little stick with little dots all over it, and they put the AK-47 in later, or the AR-15 in later, or the 1911 in later. You don't have the real prop. And so you as the actor have to use your imagination, like when you were kids playing war or cowboys and stuff like that out there in the backyard or in the woods and stuff. You're out there, you're playing, and you got a stick for a gun, and you're out there doing it, and you're believing it, right? And so that you got to do the same thing in the games. And so I really enjoy working on the games, mainly because it brings you right back to the basics of acting.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh my God, the box you're sitting on is a cockpit for an F-16. Okay? Your helmet is the bowl of soup, the plastic bowl you use for your soup during lunch, with a string tied onto your chin, and I swear that is what I had to use for my helmet in Black Ops 2 when we jump onto the back of the plane and we have the wings and we fly down.
Yeah.
For my helmet was a soup bowl.
So yeah, you're back to theater acting, staging around, kind of pretending everything's there, miming things.
That's
amazing.
Right. That's totally exactly correct. That's what you're doing in those games, and they add everything in post because it's all digitalized and stuff, and so all that stuff is added in later. You have to pretend it's there now. So as acting is concerned, when you're doing a game, you're really using more of your imagination than you would be in a regular TV series like The Walking Dead, using your imagination there as well, but in a different way. This way, on the games, you're literally sitting there. I mean, I just told you one scenario, but the other one was I was in a cockpit, and I had like a 50 cal, and I'm supposed to be shooting, and all it was like a little box. I had a little erector set plastic poles, PVC piping for my gun, and it's just. It was great, man, because when you look at the games, they look so real. And that's really us. They use our bodies and our images and our movements in those games. And so when you see the character running and crouching and shooting, that's really some actor dressed in a tight with the markers on him, running and squatting and holding up a piece of PVC piping.
Wow. Now, let me ask you this. Going from that to Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, it's something that we're all excited about, and I mean, it's a whole different role for you because you go from playing Merle Dixon on The Walking Dead, barely bathing, covered in dirt, to suddenly this man, and actually Yondu, the character you're playing on Guardians of the Galaxy, was the original founding member according to the comic book. How much research did you have to do to play this character?
You know what? I started doing reading the comics and stuff, and a very, very interesting character. And Gunn asked me not to read so much. Because we're not going to completely follow the comic and all that stuff, and I knew that, of course. And so, but when I read it, I read it with the hopes that I understand, more about the other characters as well. And so, you just get the script and you use the script at hand, the one that's in front of you, and you don't necessarily go back to the comics. For Yondu, I used what Gunn gave me, which was the givens that I had there in the script that he gave me, and it's amazing, man. I mean, my makeup and wardrobe all total took about 6 hours before getting camera ready, and so it's a cool role. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see it all edited.
So, Michael, you spent 6 hours in a chair getting yourself painted blue. And I mean, what do you do in these processes? I've always been curious. I mean, some people say that they'll listen to books on tape. I mean, were you in the same trailer getting ready with other cast members, or were you there by yourself, or?
Now, when we do that, there's different levels of the wardrobe and for the makeup. The first part is in a room with some other actors, and we're doing some stuff, some prosthetic stuff, and things like that. And then the next part is the bluing and the painting of my face and arms and all, and my body and whatever has to be painted, right? So, and that takes the majority of the time, getting it absolutely right. And I'm pretty much there the whole time, unless I'm really exhausted and I keep not out. I've done that a couple of times when they were doing it, but most of the time I'm there, and I'm like, oh, remember, last time it was a little lighter here, and and stuff, because because it's hand done every single time.
Exactly.
Every single time, it's a little bit different. So it's hand done every single time. So you are part of that process. So you have to keep a keen eye out for any kind of
continuity errors and things.
Any kind of continuity error, and they're looking for the same thing as well. And so we're all checking each other. So they're checking each other. I'm checking them, and I'm following them on something, and then they're going like, oh yeah, but the lighting on this one now is going to be blah blah blah, so we're going to need to do that a little heavier this today, and stuff like that. And so it was pretty
it must have been
amazing the way everyone worked together to get this done. And there's several layers. It's not just blue. It's like there's clear, and there's golden, and there's like silver, and there's blue, and there's darker blue, and lighter blue, and it's just amazing. It's amazing what they've done and what they do. Because in the end, we went and we did a big, huge photo session, and I saw the end result in some of the lighting that we were using, and I was just blown away because I looked at the photo, and this is the first time I've seen it in the mirror with really bad lights, and stuff, and then I've seen the makeup. I've seen myself on a video, a little feedback, little replay thing on the set. And now I actually see myself, a photo of myself taken with a real camera, with a real lens and real lighting, and dude, I was blown away because it's beautiful.
And this is the first,
absolutely, first time I ever saw the real what people were really going to see.
Exactly.
And it was stunning. It was stunning. It looked like I tell people it just looked like real skin. It was so believable. It was just amazing. It amazed me. It totally blew me away because it was so stunning and beautiful, and it was like it was just I couldn't believe it because I'd only seen it in the little feedback and maybe in bad lighting in the makeup room, and I mean it was okay. I was used to it, seeing it that way, but then to see it under real conditions, real filmmaking, movie making conditions, the way it's going to look, it was like just amazed me, and it made me think, my God, I'm working with such great artists. They were just amazing.
And not only that, but I mean, the one picture that we have seen of you, something that keeps coming up over and over again, and I have to ask this. The picture that we've seen online, the costume is very different than from the comic book, and obviously James Gunn has a different direction, and wants to, obviously more grounded in reality. But in the pictures, you look a bit out of breath. Like maybe the costume was weighing on you, or it was extremely hot that day. What was it? Your costume? Tell me a little bit more about your costume, if you can.
I was probably tired. It was hot, and my costume is layered. There's layering in my costume. It's not just one jacket or one thing, and it is. It was hot. And I was exhausted. I was probably exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, you had the puffer cheeks out. You look like, boy. If you could dump yourself in ice.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Sometimes those photos are taken out of context. So there could have been something going on just before or just after or getting ready to do something that they caught me in an awkward pose, maybe. I don't know.
He could have had a mouthful of chocolate pretzels too. You never know.
I could have had a mouthful of ice. Who knows?
Absolutely. Now, I'm really curious because you mentioned that. Now, you studied the Japanese martial art of Aikido prior to establishing yourself in theater. And, we've all seen through your pictures and everything else and in YouTube videos that you're still very skilled at fighting. You're very flexible. Now, your character in Guardians of the Galaxy, Yondu, is a natural huntsman in the comic. So, did your martial arts background come into play a lot while filming Guardians? I mean, you know, did you get to rough and tussle around?
None of your business.
Well, you know, I had to ask because I mean, you looked out of press.
Yeah.
You know,
see, Michael's got to keep some of those secrets for us, you know.
Well, you know what? And I'm just going to toss this out there. So, Michael, have you signed any other contracts for any other Marvel movies?
None of your business.
None of my business. Well,
I love it.
That's what we like to hear. I've
gotten very, very good. I could talk for an hour and a half and not say anything. Okay. The Walking Dead taught me that. So going into the Guardians movie, the Marvel movie Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm an expert. And not telling you shit.
Well, I mean, you know, it must be really exciting. These are exciting times for you. You know, like I said, just because of Merle and in everything that's built up to that, because you've had a fantastic career. You know, not to downplay anything that. Yeah, I mean, you've been in movies with some of the most leading men for both drama and action movies. And you know, I'm really curious because I'll have to ask as well. We asked this of Lou Temple. We know that when you work on The Walking Dead, and you know, basically it's time to punch your clock, you have a Last Supper.
Oh yes.
Describe your Last Supper.
My Last Supper was very odd and very awkward. It was in the middle of a restaurant. It was totally in the middle of a restaurant. People are sitting next to us. You can't talk about shit. You cannot talk about anything that has happened on The Walking Dead or is about to happen on The Walking Dead. You have to pretend that you're there, not as your Last Supper, but as just you're out having dinner. And it was kind of awkward. For me, my Last Supper was quite awkward. And I must say, I wish it had been in a private room so that we could really talk about stories and tell stories and all that kind of stuff. That's the way I had wished my Last Supper had gone, but it did not. It went in the middle of a restaurant with 50 other people in the restaurant and people sitting within 4 feet of us. So there was no real Last Supper conversation that I had envisioned would occur. And so all I did was like eat and talk and about nothing about The Walking Dead. Nothing at all about The Walking Dead. We just talked. And I don't even know what kind of conversations we were having, but it had nothing to do with me leaving or me leaving the series or anything like that. I'll tell you that right now. I think that was unfortunate because I would have loved to have had it been a bit more private.
Well, I think you kind of just told us that you had your Last Supper at an IHOP in McDonough, Georgia, didn't you?
Pretty much, dude. It was totally. There were people everywhere. The waitress and waiters were coming up asking, would you like this, would you like this? And there were people sitting, you know, it's like, and you know they were Walking Dead fans because they kept looking over and all that stuff. So you couldn't say anything. It was like you had to not only had you, it was like having an interview with 40, it was like having a press conference with all the people sitting around us at the table and then all the other guests in the restaurant. So,
but in all honesty, Mike, if you had had the party the way you wanted to, none of those people would have showed up for work the next day. They would all been hungover, right?
Hell yeah, they would have been, baby. Because I would have ordered up a couple of bottles of amazing Jameson Gold Reserve, and we would have had a grand old time.
Do they still serve that in IHOP over there in Georgia?
They probably do, yeah.
Oh, Jameson's Gold Reserve? Yeah, they serve that all. or the 18-year-old Jamesons or the Bushmills 21-year-old. I mean, come on. Any of those whiskeys would have been great to have 3 or 4 bottles on the table.
And, Michael, it's real curious. You mentioned all these people that you have around you all the time, and it must be overwhelming because you have the Walking Dead fans, and now you're going to have a whole new level of geek fans coming after you. Because before, it was the Walking Dead fans, kind of you have these Southern Bells, which are obviously loving the Merle Dixon brother thing.
Oh, yeah.
And now you have all the alien groupies. How crazy is this? I mean, do you get, trampled by fans everywhere you go?
Now I get to hug beautiful women in leotards that are painted and are orange or blue or green with little antennas coming out of their heads and stuff like that. I mean, it's going to be beautiful. I can't wait. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be a beautiful film, and I'm so excited to be involved with it. Dude, I got to tell you, it ended up being such an awesome, amazing turn of events that Merle was checking out at the same time. James Gunn was calling me and saying, "Man, what's up? What's going on?" And I'm like going, "Hey, well, I'll tell you, my brother, this is what's going on." And he was like, "Shit, yes, baby." Right away. I knew he wanted me to do it, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it. And then to have that leaving, my emotions were so twisted and turned because I'm leaving a lot of friends and a great show and a wonderful character behind and going into something new and different and with a beautiful person, my friend James Gunn, and an awesome company. Marvel is producing amazing stuff now, and so and Disney as well. So I got this amazing future, in the next several weeks I get to go do this, but yet I'm leaving everybody behind here, and it was pretty emotional there for a while, and I so I'm happy to go, but I'm sad to go, Well, pretty amazing stuff.
It is. I mean, your growth as an actor, we've seen you grow by leaps and bounds, and a lot of us, and it's like the 80s generation, the 70s generation, they grew up watching you now, and now you have a whole new generation of fans that'll be able to follow you. Mm-hmm. Michael, what's in your future? Tell us what you're working on.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, I tweeted out my daughter just had a child, so I'm a granddad for the first time.
Congratulations.
I have a little granddaughter, and so it's amazing, dude. She is so unbelievably beautiful, and it's just like it brings you back to the day when you have your first child as a father, and it's like, oh my gosh, this little being is so small in your hands, and it just turns your emotions all upside down, and it's beautiful. So right now I'm on a break. I get to hang out for the holidays and with family and friends and stuff. So I'm just chilling out right now, man, and hopefully something great will come up around the corner, and we'll see. And I just got to give out an award for the NASCAR Sprint Car Championship, and I got to, as a matter of fact, I'm jumping back. I just got to give out the 4th place award to Kyle Busch, whose nickname is Rowdy.
Yep, after Days of Thunder.
That's right, after you're Rowdy.
That's right. He said when I left the stage after I announced him and everything, we shook hands and hugged, the manly hug thing. I go out, and he comes up to the podium and he points to himself and he says, I didn't see him do this. And he says, we all know who the real Rowdy is. Okay. Oh my God, the gauntlet has been dropped. I'm going to say right now on your show,
exclusive.
I was rowdy when he was probably still in diapers. Okay?
Yeah.
So there you have it. There you have it, Mr. Kyle Busch. Take that one, buddy.
You were spinning out Tom Cruise way before Kyle Busch was thinking about driving.
That's right, baby. Yes, I was. Oh, my God. How great. I had a great time. We did it in Vegas. It was an awesome. NASCAR was so gracious, put me up, and it was just a great time. Great time.
And those fans love you too. They're probably another group, because Deadpool. I was thinking about that as well. He's got those NASCAR fans who he could show up anywhere and they go, "Rowdy Burns is here."
Yep.
Rowdy Burns. Oh man, people tell me, oh my gosh. I mean, you got hundreds and hundreds of people out there for this thing, and they're like, oh no. You were Rowdy before you were Merle Dixon. Let me tell you. You'll always be Rowdy in my house. All those kinds of comments. So
yeah.
It was beautiful.
I'm over here working in your home state of Alabama, down in Mobile. So, I figured. Yeah, so the NASCAR thing, there's probably somebody driving around here with a Rowdy Burns sticker on their car, probably.
No doubt.
You know they are. You know what? If that movie had been done 10 years ago, we would have already done 4 or 5 more like it. The whole franchise craze. Back when we did Days of Thunder and like Tombstone and some of these other Cliffhanger even and all these other movies, they didn't even think. I don't know if they even thought about franchising, and they might have thought about a sequel, but now, hell, dude, they think about 4 or 5 down the road, don't they?
Exactly.
Yeah. They're looking at what can we do over the next decade, not just what can we do this year.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. They do.
Star Wars would have never been made in the time span that it was because the fans would never have allowed those amazingly long gaps. So it just goes to show how different everything is. And I mean, social media is a huge push as well because we feel connected to a lot of the actors. We get a lot of hints. I mean, nothing's really secret anymore just because there's so much expose everywhere. But
it's really tough to keep. It's really tough to keep something in. I mean, we learned that on The Walking Dead. It's really hard, and how it rolls around the whole world. I mean, in a week it's going to open the episode's going to air in England, and then later on in Japan, and what? It's just. And then of course the internet's up, and you're talking on Twitter and Facebook, and of course, my God, it's so hard to keep. It's hard to be surprised anymore.
Exactly.
You got to stay away from your Facebook account, your Twitter account when the show's going on. I mean, it's a little nuts.
Yeah.
Michael, let me tell you something. First of all, we here at Chimichanga Talk, we wish you the best of luck and everything. Congratulations on the grandfather role. That's the most important role beyond being a father that you're going to be able to play. Just because, it's not your child anymore. You'll be able to spoil him a little bit. So
totally, man, totally. and when they start crying, you give them back.
Exactly. It's the granddad role is a cherished one, and we have. We do this usually with all our guests, but we're trying something a little bit different. You're a special guest on, and we want to make you feel special. So we have a brand new game that we play at the end. It's very quick. It's just yes or no answers, and they're all about you.
It's just a little kind of trivia about your history in the films and everything like that. So just answer yes or no if you have a little tidbit to add, and then we'll let you move on with your day.
All right, let's try it.
Yeah, we'll try it, and
Now, remember, we got to give the name of this. Now, this is actually called Scratch That with the Great Wang, and the reason we call it Scratch That is because while watching these films, these are questions that the Great Wang asked himself that made him scratch his head. So now we're getting our answer straight from the source.
I did. I was Michael Rooker binge watching over the past week. So.
Okay, you get honest answers.
That's right. Honest answers. Yes or no, and any other details. That's entirely up to you. Did you learn? That's right. Did you learn to drive a NASCAR at very fast speeds in Days of Thunder?
Yes.
You did. Any training or anything, or just kind of a quick course?
On the job training.
All right, fantastic. You were in JFK, and of course we had the anniversary last month. But JFK, great film. Between you and Kevin Costner and everybody, the great cast, did you guys actually figure out who killed JFK?
We did not.
No.
Well, the answer would be no.
Okay. All right. In Cliffhanger, great film, mountain climbing, all sorts of things. The great Sylvester Stallone is in the movie. Could you defeat Sylvester Stallone in an arm wrestling contest?
Of course. Yes.
There you go. See, that's what we want to hear.
We can propose this challenge to Stallone. This would be the sequel to Over the Top that everybody would be looking for.
That's right.
That's right, Dennis. That's right. As long as I use my weak arm.
There you go. Make it interesting.
Hey, Michael, we're just tossing it out there. I mean, Stallone's making a boxing movie at his age now. Maybe he will want to make an arm wrestling movie following this boxing movie. So, hey,
I hear it's coming back.
Now, you were in the relatively quiet movie, a short film called Repo, the Genetic Opera. Have you ever actually repossessed anyone's organs?
It's a valid question.
I tried many times to repossess my own, but I have no, sir. I have never repossessed anyone else's organ.
All right. He probably accidentally did his Merle Dixon, but that doesn't include him, Michael Rooker. So. You were in Tombstone, another big cast, great movie. If you're at the grocery store and you see Tombstone pizza, do you buy it?
Hell yeah, I do.
What's going to be on your tombstone?
I cannot help myself.
See, I think if I was Michael Rooker, I would go to the grocery store every day and just buy one lone Tombstone pizza just to see if the clerk got the joke.
I don't think they ever get it, man. I like Tombstone pizza. As a matter of fact, endorsing Tombstone pizza. It's very good, actually.
All right, and you were in The Sixth Day, a futuristic film about cloning. Do you wish you had a clone?
I wish I had more than one clone. Are you kidding me? I'd be doing movies all over the world, baby. While I'm hanging out in Florida, hanging out with a Mai Tai or something, just chilling.
Fantastic. And one more thing, you've had lots of different roles. A little credit to you. You play the perfect small town sheriff, things along those lines, as well as bad guys. But we've always wanted to ask people, is it more fun to play the evil character or the cop?
I like to play them both at the same time.
The evil cop.
He wants to play the evil cop. That's what he wants to play. There you go. Wasn't really a yes or no question, but we know you like playing all sort of diverse roles. So
sorry I missed out on a yes or no one. It was just so much fun to combine the two.
Well, that's what we like to do. We just like to have some fun with you, Michael, man. And I know you're a fun guy. So, and now I know I have to buy a expensive bottle of Jameson if I see you at a con next year. But
damn right, it better be the good stuff, man.
There you go.
Hey, it's not that expensive. Come on, Gold Reserve is not that expensive.
Yeah, on your salary, of course not. You've given us a lot of great gifts, and we can't thank you enough for that because you've brought to life all these great characters, not only in film but in television as well, because you've done numerous works on TV, especially during this holiday season. We want to wish you the best. And
thank you very much.
No, absolutely. And Michael, more than anything else, going into this new year, we'll always welcome you back here at Chimichanga Talk. If there's anything else that we could do for you, let us know. Any appearances coming up soon or into 2014?
Nothing that I can actually say in public, but there are always talks going on, and so I have to say that there are some talks going on. So
All right.
We'll see.
Well, everybody should follow Michael. He's at michaelrookeronline.com as well as at Michael_Rooker on Twitter, and he's very entertaining. I encourage all of our listeners to follow him on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. What is the other one? Is it Michael Rooker Online? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Michael Rooker Online.
That's yes, that's right. That's where I post things too. There's several of those things. Man, they confuse me. So good luck out there, everybody. I hope you can find me.
Michael, all those links will be available via metadata on iTunes. They can go ahead and get all that information also on our website. Michael, once again, congratulations on being a grandfather. On behalf of Chimichanga Talk, I'm Deadpool Speaks, and with me as always is the great Wang. Michael Rooker, thank you so much for being on.
Thanks, guys. I had a great time. You guys are awesome.
Thank you for listening this week, and remember, just like always, we will be back next week with another great guest and more adventures from the land of Chimichanga Talk. So tune in next time, same Deadpool time, same Deadpool channel.
Yeah, I need to redo mine too.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that just went all right, the crap. So, all right.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network, your station for all things geek, classic, current, and beyond. Be part of the crew at ESONetwork.com.